The Starlight Inn is my first novel. It's about a boy who grows up in a fundamentalist church, and he has scrupulosity, like I did as a teenager. Scrupulosity is a rare form of OCD centered around religious obsessions. And the main character, named Chuck Hicks, loves Catcher in the Rye, like I did as well. Here's a first edition book club copy that I found at an antique store. So Chuck Hicks has these two parts to himself. The one that genuinely wants to act right before God, and the other that's like the real him, how he's like around his friends, what his mind actually thinks about. The whole intention of the novel when I started was I wanted to write a Christian book with a real character that thought and talked and acted like my friends and I did. But I struggled with that. I always felt like I had to hide the real part of me in order to promote this Christian image, in order to make it a wholesome book with a moral. As a result, my writing always felt artificial and lacked energy. I went through a change in my life over time, a deconversion process, which I've outlined in my videos on Substack. I was a pastor and just a long time very committed Christian. What I began to believe is that the reason for me that it was so difficult to write authentically voiced Christian fiction is because good fiction is about showing the human experience, and Christianity at its core is about denying that experience. For example, the Bible teaches that we are born with a sinful nature, and we must become less like ourselves. And in my limited experience as a writer, I've learned that denial of personhood does not make for a good story. There are light sci-fi elements in the book because it takes place about 20 years in the future. It's really not science fiction or specifically dystopian. It's essentially a road trip book with teenagers. They need a miracle to save one of them from a terminal disease. They're searching for a nightclub lounge in the bottom of a canyon in the middle of Wyoming, rumored to possess miraculous powers. I will say there's lots of trigger warnings in it. There's drugs, sex, physical and mental abuse, mental illness and suicide, manipulation, and lots of profanity. It's strange because I don't really swear that much in real life, but when I started writing, that's what came out. But if triggers like that are too upsetting, I would recommend that you don't read the book. There's plenty of good entertainment out there, and better writers than me. And if you're struggling with thoughts of suicide, there is help. It's just dial 988 on a phone in the United States, just like 911. So if you just dial 988, and you can talk to someone live on the suicide hotline. If you're dealing with religious trauma, I recommend checking out journeyfree.org and the writings of Marlene Winnell, whose book Leaving the Fold is a fundamental resource for that process. And there's also a really great forum on there and a community for people. Thanks for your time, and peace.